things happening. And with every tragedy, there's some sort of good that comes from it. I know, it sounds bizarre. It doesn't sound right. But you know what? If we didn't have these tragedies, how would we learn the lessons? How would you learn to appreciate if you didn't lose? How would you learn to grieve if you didn't lose? Right? So we all have lessons in life. And if you don't have the experiences, you can't possibly learn how to ride a bike without falling off a couple times. I've never heard of it done, right? And that's the thing. There's always going to be, that's how we learn. We brush off and we get back up. Some things are a lot tougher than others. I totally agree. But, we're survivors, right? We made it another day. So, great stuff going on in the world. Here's my first story today. And it's out of Oslo, Norway. And it's on the AP News. The international campaign to abolish nuclear weapons won the Nobel Peace Prize on Friday, a forceful show of support for the grassroots effort that seeks to pressure the world's nuclear powers to give up the weapons that could destroy the planet. The choice of the little-known coalition of disarmament activists put the Nobel Committee again at the forefront of geopolitics at a time when fears are rising over North Korea's nuclear and missile program and the invective it has drawn from U.S. President Donald Trump. The committee cited the tiny Geneva-based ICAN for its work that led to the Treaty on the Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons that was reached in July at the United Nations. The group has been a driving force in prevailing upon the world's nations to pledge to cooperate in efforts to stigmatize, prohibit, and eliminate nuclear weapons, Norwegian Nobel Committee Chairwoman Berit Reiss-Andersen said in an announcement. More than 120 countries approved the treaty over opposition from nuclear-armed countries and their allies. In a statement issued after the Nobel was announced, the U.S. reiterated its position that the treaty will not result in the elimination of a single nuclear weapon. So there's a much larger article than that. Like, it is really long, and I'm not reading the whole thing, but you can read it at your own convenience. You can go look it up on that website, apnews.com, or I'll be sharing these on the Positive Power Facebook page. Like, I share all the good news there. So you're going to want to make sure you like that page. Again, something terrible, like I said, people, that's when they come together as people. Hey, you ever notice that when we have tragedy, they drop the things that separate us and we just come together, whether it be wildfires or, a shooting or a storm or whatever. That's when we seem to do better. We seem to just, be somebody with 2 feet and a heartbeat that can, step up and help somebody because they're human, not because they're your color, not because they're your religion, anything else, because they're a human and you're a human. Like, geez, we're so nice to dogs, aren't we? Walking along, we see a dog. Hey, puppy. We pet him. We do all sorts of stuff. Do we talk to the owner? Sometimes, but not always. But we see a lonely person walking along. Do we walk up and make an effort? Well, I do, but not everybody does. So think about that, right? So this is cool. Volunteers transform empty Las Vegas lot into healing garden in just 4 days. What was once an empty lot between 2 Las Vegas casinos is now a lush, thriving garden for city residents to heal and seek sanctuary, and it was erected in only 4 days. The Las Vegas Healing Garden was opened to the public on Friday after a team of dedicated volunteers spent the week planting greenery and paving walkways for the finished product. The oasis now features a remembrance wall with 58 smiling photos of the Las Vegas shooting victims and a tree of life, a massive oak tree that stands in the middle of the garden. I love it. The garden, which was spearheaded by landscape designer Jay Plegancool of Stone Rose Landscapes, was originally only intended to be a pop-up project for residents to find asylum. But after requesting a space from the city of Las Vegas, officials agreed that they wanted something more permanent. Organizers managed to raise over $300,000 in donations for the construction costs. Plegan Cool received dozens of flower and shrubbery donations from local nurseries, all of which were planted by hundreds of volunteers during the following days. Since it is open, the community has agreed that it has become an invaluable place of refuge. The cool thing about the park is it's being built completely by donations and volunteer efforts, Plegan Cool told DTVL. The main point of the park wasn't so much the end result, but bringing people together for something positive. Hallelujah. I totally think that's awesome. And I have a girlfriend that I've known, I don't know, since I was a sperm and an egg. And she is going to Las Vegas sometime in the next couple days. So I'm going to ask her if she'll go there and take some pictures for us. That would be very, very cool. We'll share them on Facebook, of course. And then the last story. Joseph Badam has spent decades preparing to save friends and family from an inevitable doomsday. But now he will be saving a different group of people instead. The 74-year-old architect in Medford, New Jersey, has spent the last 40 years collecting survival supplies for the bomb shelter in his basement. He and his wife Phyllis had accumulated enough non-perishable food and resources to feed and house at least 100 people in the event of a worst-case scenario. Wow. The $1 million bomb shelter came equipped with a survival library, showers, coal furnaces, kerosene refrigerators, toilets, washers, and dryers. Though doomsday never happened, the neighbors were always grateful for the resources whenever there was a power outage. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. But after Phyllis died in 2013 and the bank foreclosed on his home last month, oh good grief, Badam became heartbroken over how his survival project would never be put to its intended use. During the closing sale of the property, however, Badam found a new purpose. 30-year-old Victoria Martinez Barber was providing catering for the estate sale last month when she met the elderly architect. She explained how all of the sales from her and her husband's food truck would help provide relief for her family in Puerto Rico. Over the years, Badam had collected hundreds of 300-pound barrels filled with food, each of which had the capacity to feed 84 people for 4 months. It sounds like he was a bit of a mathematician, too. The architect had originally expected all of the barrels to be thrown away, but instead he offered to donate it all to Martinez Barber's family in Puerto Rico. Phyllis and I prepared all this for one group of people, and it turns out it's going to help another group of people. That's wonderful, he said. Additionally, since befriending Martinez Barber and her husband, he has since been adopted into their family. He now resides in an RV in their backyard. And though it marks the start of an unfamiliar new era of his life, Badam says he is delighted to have found a new purpose in helping those less fortunate. That is awesome. And you know, we talk a lot about synchronicity and being in the right place at the right time, and that would have all gone to waste had he not had the right person step into his life and help him place it properly. Absolutely awesome. That is so very, very cool. So, that's your good news for today. That's all being posted on the Positive Power Facebook page. And it'll also go on Twitter. If you're on Twitter, make sure you follow me. I'm under @SarniaRocks, SarniaRocks. Sounds like a little commercial, doesn't it? So I had a crazy night last night. I have to tell you, this hasn't happened to me in a long time. I woke up at like 2:30 in the morning, and both my feet were cramping up like, oh my gosh, I was almost in tears. I'm sitting up, I'm laying down, I'm rubbing them, I'm not rubbing them. I'm thinking, because when I was a teenager, that used to happen to me a lot. And then it hasn't in a long time, except for randomly. So it happened last night, and you know, I'm rubbing my feet. I'm trying to think all this stuff my dad used to, because I remember when it happened when I was a teenager. I'd go down into the living room or whatever and be like, Dad, my feet. And I'd be like, you know, wobbling over. Not my best look, I'll tell you. And so here I am, and he'd rub my feet for me or tell me to walk it out or whatever. So last night I'm trying to remember, and I'm rubbing one foot and that's the other foot, and I'm like, oh, good grief. I'm trying not to wake Al up because he gets up at 6 o'clock in the morning, and let's just say mornings aren't his thing. Anyways, so I knew I should walk it out, or I was thinking I should walk it out, but there's no way I wanted to get up and walk around and moan and cry and whatever. So anyways, it worked itself out. Today I'm better. My feet don't hurt. Whatever, I'm okay. But it was the weirdest thing. And you know, I've lost like a lot of weight. Like good healthy loss, right? So my feet are skinny. It's funny. So as I'm rubbing them, I'm thinking, oh gosh, you got bony feet. I don't know. Funny how we think, right? Anyways, so the health part of our good news today is about dun 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 dun. Could you have a guess? Best remedies for toe cramps. Toe cramps and foot cramps are pretty much the same, right? Muscle cramps are usually harmless, but that doesn't mean they're not painful, right? Which they are, very painful. Most people experience quite a few muscle cramps in their lifetime. We use our toes every day to walk, so they get quite the workout, right? Even if you're not an athlete. And you look at your age, you figure like my feet, you know, have been 365 days a year. I've been on my feet every single day, I'm sure, except for maybe a little bit in that first year where I was learning how to walk. For 49 years, that's a lot of time on my feet. That's a lot of miles. So, common causes. Physical activity. Dehydration and overexertion are common causes of cramps during exercise. When you're dehydrated, electrolyte levels in your body drop, which can lead to muscle cramps. I don't exercise, but that's probably what it is with me, because I have not been drinking as much water as I usually do. Next thing, age. As people get older, they lose muscle mass. The remaining muscle has to work harder. Starting in your early 40s, if you're not regularly active, muscles can get stressed more easily, leading to cramps. Well, that would be me too. Medical conditions. Muscle cramps can be more common in people with medical conditions, such as diabetes or liver disease. People with diabetes are at risk for peripheral neuropathy, a condition that causes damage to the nerves in your fingers and toes. A lot of people know that, right? And then it could be a side effect to your medication, or it could be mineral deficiency. So, there's the problems. There's what causes it. So, being a solution-based culture that we are now, let's look at the solutions. So, simple solutions. Most people are able to successfully treat toe cramps with the at-home remedies listed below. But if you find they're getting worse and you can't figure it out, go talk to your doctor. And you'll have no problem going doing that because it hurts like a son of a gun. So number one, stretch them. So on this article, it's on healthline.com. I'm going to share it on the Facebook page, and again, it'll go on to Twitter. So it shows you or tells you some exercises that you can do. It says often regular stretching and strengthening exercises will help you avoid cramps. So it tells you about toe raise, toe flex, toe curl. Here's a good one. And I often say I come from a long line of tree climbers. We have toes that look like fingers, and it's so funny because when I look at my granddaughter Gemma, the newest one, she's 2 months old. She's got finger toes. That's what we call them. We're past denial. We're owning it. Our toes look like fingers. We don't care. So this is funny. Marble pickup. I should get my 3 sisters and we could have like a conversation or a tournament with some beer. This would be fun. Place 20 marbles on the floor, one at a time. Pick them up and place them in a bowl using only your toes. Oh man, I love this. And then the next one is sand walking. If you're lucky enough to get to the beach, which here in southwestern Ontario, in Sarnia, surrounded by beaches, walking barefoot in the sand can help massage and strengthen the muscles in your feet and toes. Good to know. Number 2, use heat or ice. Number 3, up your water intake. And number 4, change your shoes. I mostly wear flats. I am tall enough as a girl that I find flats work for me. I never wear heels. I can't get used to them. You know, maybe every once in a while a little bit of a lift, but nothing crazy. But you know, I see some women and they wear these really high heels and I think, oh my goodness, it would not be good for me as far as how my feet go, but I would surely wipe out. And then that alcohol, are you kidding me? That would be wild. So anyways, there's your good news for today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned some stuff from it. And I hope you're interested in joining me here again. Doing the good news. We do it 3 times a week. Tuesdays and Thursdays right around noon on the Playfair Music audio stream. And then we also do it Sunday nights. Our Sunday show is 7 to 9. So we do it right smack in the middle, right around 8 o'clock. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed it. I know.